It's a pleasure to celebrate this moment with you all. This is the first edition of the hybrid Butoh Vienna Art Festival, and also the first action of the festival. And this is already our proposal. That's not just to work in Vienna or Austria, but work in connection with the places and festivals, and expanding our network and work more internationally between all of us. Of course, the first idea was to have, I would love to have your presence here, where we could have more than 10 minutes to talk. But of course, as a first edition, without any funding, any money from the government or things like this, is impossible to invite you to come to be here. But I hope to the next year and next editions to have this invitation where you could come and we could have the presence here during the festival to think about, to talk about, and to live together, thinking more deeply how to improve our network. To start, you know already, we have two main questions. That is, first is about your own Butoh environment. How is your Butoh environment? What is going on in Oslo, in Poland, in US, or in Taiwan, in your country? But of course, we know that all of you are working internationally, so maybe your Butoh environment is bigger than your country. Feel free also to share it. You can talk just about your city or country or your field of research. For example, Professor Bruce, you can take this as environment of your research. And then the second question is to talk about how are you working in front of this environment. We know you have research, you have festival events of Butoh events, and so in front of this environment, which are your actions? What are you doing in front of it? What are you looking for? So feel free also to take this and to talk about whatever you want. So somehow this is a kind of nice to meet you. I'm William, my country is like this, I'm doing like that. And then the end of this meeting, we could have a kind of international environment overview of this international environment. And then we could think about how we could, maybe for the next actions, improve our network and to work together and for next steps. This is the general idea. Feel free to share whatever you want to share. So from this point, I would like to invite Yumi. So you have these two main questions. Of course, there is also a presentation to present yourself, to present your festivals. I could do this from here, but I know there is a long list of a lot of work, and then we would need more than 3 hours to present all of it. So feel free to present yourself, your festival or research or event. I would like to start with Yumi in Australia. I will make you host. So when you need to share your video, I make this because I need to keep here like accepting people that is coming. Okay? You want to put it now, this moment first, so I can accept it? Or... Yes. Just a moment. Yeah, feel free, Yumi. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. I think still cannot share it. There's a host to disable participants screen sharing.
Would you like to have this already to share?
Yes, when I can talk first, then maybe I would like to share. It's a very simple PowerPoint thing.
Okay. Maruska will give you this permission.
Yeah, if you can give me as a co-host or something.
Yeah, we were trying to put co-hostel, but not, and then just hostel.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I'll get it. Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you. My name is Yumi Umiumare. I'm originally from Japan, and I used to work with the Direcudacam, but moved to Australia in 1993. And just doing this, now we call kind of a creative platform / festival called Butoh Out in Australia, Melbourne. Melbourne is like quite other end from Europe. It's some summer now, but it's quite cold here today. So I'd like to show a little bit of a different version of Butoh Out. We've been running since 2018. And maybe I just do the screen share. Oops, sorry. Yeah. So yes, yeah, while we're doing this, yeah, sorry. Let me see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, is it the wrong one I'm sharing?
Okay.
Do you share my screen?
Yes.
About Butoh Out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. So I just doing a very simple presentation of Butoh Out, and you can tell me like 2 minutes before finishing or something. So if you don't mind.
Yes.
Okay, so Butoh Out is an interesting name because Butoh could be like Butoh say, like how you think as a Butoh. So we could be as actual essence of Butoh out or take the Butoh out. So we have a both meaning of take Butoh in from essence or quintessential Butoh or take the Butoh out. So that's a very interesting discovery for us to start. So we start from 2000, oops, oh, for some reason I couldn't share. Sorry, yeah. So this in 2017, Yumiko Yoshioka, obviously a lot of people would know, came and we invite her to come. And we did a kind of part of Asia proper festival. So we have a professional person like a Yumiko and myself and Tony Yap originally from Malaysia, and the other person called Agun from Indonesia performed in Melbourne. So this was more like a solo component performance. We have a very small scale to start with. And next year we did the much more bigger, it's a nature. Body is closest our nature. It's sort of how can we close our nature? I mean, Australia is a bigger landscape. I don't know you much know. So we try to make nature as a part of big scheme, and body is our closest to nature. So how can we deal with our nature, including our body and landscape itself? That was a kind of theme. So every year we have a theme. So I'm just going quickly through last 5 years theme. And last 2019, just before COVID, we call this a forbidden laughter. Sometimes in Butoh, they thought you cannot laugh, but why cannot? And also the laughter in Japanese is also crack the surface off, so make the facade off. So we are trying to find this kind of seriousness of Butoh, but they crack the humor out of it. I mean, I do lots of humor, but this was a theme of forbidden laughter about the base on Butoh. How can we laugh? And a proper, interesting level. How these are like a frozen? Sorry, it doesn't go to the next one. Is it? Oh, yeah. So then that's also Kindan no Warai. It's like how you laugh. It's the same thing. What we're trying to do is in 2019. That was just before COVID. And obviously COVID hit. So 2020, we have Melbourne has the longest lockdown. So almost 250 days we had a lockdown. So that's time people call new normal, but we call new abnormal. This becomes totally abnormal. So we just extracted this another essence of quirkiness and strangeness about world. And again, combined with Butoh and humor and seriousness again. So that was at 2021. And this year we called kabuku off, which is katabuku, which is the kabuku is original kabuki, Japanese kabuki form, but also that's off the center and off the sort of actual, like a little bit of weirdness, but how can we not be weird and abnormal? And again, this embrace this our freedom. So, but unfortunately, recent one, we have to have a canceled because about 10 people got COVID really recently, so a week ago, including myself. I was number 6. So unfortunately, I have to cancel it. So this was going to be next year. So Blessed Chaos is going to be next year. And I think each time they're coming, for some reason they disabilize. Sorry. Reason. Okay. So I don't want to be too intellectualized, but I'm just quickly say what we're trying to do is activate, innovate, and transform and celebrate. Somehow it's a big things, but the Butoh tend to be very focused on the dark side, and Dance of Darkness was original called in 60s. But the world is getting so full on dark elements happening around the area and around the world. So for me, the humanity and transformation and celebration is very important part of Butoh. So we're trying to create a lot of inclusiveness, lots of people be part of this, and then a lot of people can be doing it, we even who never danced before, and they can transform from their own spiritual perspective as well as a body perspective. But finally, we have to celebrate. So that's kind of a little slogan we're trying to do. And just the forum, this is like a 2017, Yumiko-san, Miguel came, and we're trying to do forum, sometimes workshop, but also performance season and performance making workshop. So I'm just going to show you very quickly a photograph and talking through and show the short excerpt of the video. In Australia, we have a lot of beautiful landscapes. So we have a venue called Abbotsford's Convent, used to be like a nurse, nun was living. So we have a beautiful outdoor and indoor event place. So this is one of the workshop. And also, as I said, Butohness is like a Butohse in Japanese. How Butoh can be Butoh, it's not even traditional classical style of Butoh. So we invite people like Agung Gunawan from Indonesia. He does very Japanese, very traditional dance, but we find the spirit of Butoh is very in his dance and trance dance kind of thing. So ask him to be part of tutor and perform as a workshop teacher. So the bunch of village people from Indonesia came to perform for us, which was amazing situation of this, almost 30 people come and dance. And their dance is not Butoh, but we can see the essence of Butoh a lot. So again, contemporary interpretation of Butoh for us is very important, as long as I capture the classic part of Butoh. So these are obviously, as I said, 30 people almost from the village arrived to Melbourne, and we just had a workshop performance and two weeks performance seasons. And also talking about radical inclusiveness, which is easy to say, but hard to do, but we work with the people with the disability and company called Weave Movement Theatre. They are amazing collaborator last 4 or 5 years. And they were part of twice in the Butoh Out performances. And I work separately with them as a choreographer, and then again, embrace these different body conditions and how we can capture the essence of Butoh. And this one sort of a few different workshops like performance making, and people, this is a COVID time, and a lot of people had a trouble inside of the expressiveness. So we try to also capture this, our healing process, not only just artistic situations, because we do, a lot of people suffered difficulty in kind of depressions and stuff. So we capture darkness, yet we have to express for the light, open way. So yeah, we just create this sort of performance making workshop, and sometimes people create the performances as a part of 3 days process in a weekend workshop.
Sorry, you mean just to say that we have the last two minutes.
Okay, I'll be quick. So, and this is a laboratory process. And also last year, because of the international canopy visit, so we are actually invited Seisaku-san and Matsuoka Dai-san from Japan, and we did online from their online presence, and we workshop. So just got kind of new discovery of, rather than invite international, we did invite them as an online, and we did a workshop. And also quickly showing, we do call peak Butoh kids workshop. So little kids workshop trying to peak Butoh. So Butoh could be also not just serious, but also openness. So this show a few funny photo of with a visual artist. So a lot of kind of open and celebration parts. And this is in a convent. And also this is with the, do you think you cannot dance for the senior member? So people who think you cannot dance, but you can in Butoh way. Look at Kazuo Ono sensei. He was dancing at 200. So that's kind of a theme of us is like, why do you think you cannot dance? Because dance has got a lot of different way. So this is a senior. They do lots of amazing performance. And I mean, sort of workshop we do. And also online workshop we have to finish, yeah? And forum. So I was going to show the video, but obviously maybe I can send a thread to the link so people can look at themselves if you want it. And I want to stop share, but I don't know how to stop share. Whoop, yeah. So that was, I was going to send the excerpt, but so 10 minutes is very quick. Thank you.
No, I'm sorry. I would love
That's
to
okay.
more, but thank you so much. It's a pleasure, really a gift to have your presentation, to know about all of your environment. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can you give me back the hosting?
Sorry?
Give me back the hosting so I can.
Sorry. How do you do that? Yeah, I do back.
The free. Close to
Blur my background. No, choose. Oh, host was not there. So I have to give to you. Okay. You to spotlight, make host. Yep.
Thank you so much. So I invite Hiroshi-san and Daniela to start this translation.
こんにちは。フェスティバルの紹介をすればいいんですかね。フェスティバルの紹介ですよね。
Okay. He's going to introduce you his festival now.
2017年に、札幌、北海道という土地でフェスティバルを始めました。北海道は日本の一番北の、大きな島です。
Okay. The first festival in Hokkaido, this is the most northern island of the big islands of Japan, was held in the year 2017.
で、日本ではあまり舞踏フェスティバルというものが、開催されてなくて、で、まあ、海外の方が結構活発にやっているイメージがあったんですね。それで、日本でもやっぱり、若い人、ヤングピーポーに、見てほしいと思って始めました。
Okay, there are not, I hope there are some other people who speak Japanese in English, so correct me if I do something wrong. There are not so many Butoh festivals in Japan, or at least at that time there wasn't, and Butoh was not so well known, and he wanted to introduce Butoh to the young people of Japan.
で、日本では、東京がやっぱり、ダンサーとか、まあ、舞踏もコンテンポラリーダンスも多いんですね。で、北海道はそんなに多くないんですけど、まあ、その分、 自由にできるというか、自由にできる。はい。
Hi. In Tokyo, you can find actually every kind of dance, and there are a lot of dancers, contemporary, Butoh, whatever, but not in Hokkaido. So, yeah.
で、北海道は、どのぐらいなんだろうな。まあ、それで北海道のいろんな町、3つとか4つとか5つとか、町から町に移動しながらフェスティバルをやってました。
いろんな町でフェスティバルをしたいんですか？
はい、そうなんです。
はい。わかりました。
はい、いろんな町でやります。
ブトフェスティバル。
はい。
はい、わかりました。So his idea was to do this festival in many different villages in Hokkaido, not only at one place. はい。
はい。で、小さな町とかにもたくさん行ったことで、まあ、舞踏を見たことない人にもたくさん見てもらいましたし、日本ではあんまり、普通の人は舞踏とか知らないので、まあ、とてもいろんな方に知ってもらえた機会になりました。
Okay. Well, in the little, generally, Butoh is still kind of underground in Japan and not so well known, and especially in those small villages in Hokkaido, it's kind of first time, and they didn't know what it is, but they were quite, as I understood, quite interested in it. Right.
で、私は、2011年に、ダンスセンターを仲間たちと作って、コンテンポラリーダンスと舞踏の両方を、盛り上げようといろいろやってます。
Okay. Well, now I missed a little bit because I worried with the date. I think it is the point in the year 2011. He founded a dance center with a group of friends. In this dance center, they were concentrating on contemporary dance and Butoh. Yeah.
はい。で、コンテンポラリーダンスと舞踏の両方を同じぐらい、やってるというのは、まあ、珍しいと言われたこともありますし、あと、まあ私は、今42歳なので、まあ舞踏の、ピークというか、全盛期って言ったらおかしいですけど、舞踏の、まあ土方さんとか大野さんの踊りを見たことはない世代です。そこも珍しいと言われます。
Okay. Yeah, they were concentrating on contemporary dance and Butoh, but wanted to do also some extraordinary new things. And now Hiroshi-san is 42 and なんでピーク？自分のピークですか？ピークの意味と
土方さんが生きてた頃の舞踏を知らないという意味です。
この位置で。そうか、自分の生き方の舞踏を知れない。
はい、まだ子供だったので。
そう、はい、わかりました。はい、はい。そう、OK. Well, he is 42 and of course he never got known to see or to learn from Hichikata himself because he was too young at that time.
はい。で、まあ、若い人がこの舞踏のプロデュースをしているということが珍しいとよく言われます。
言われます。
日本で、はい、日本で、なんて言ったらいいんだ。
言われますはどういう意味ですか？
あんまり例がない。あんまりいないです。他にそういう。
はい、はい。そう、もう一つ、はい。Yeah, basically he said the same to me that he wants to introduce Butoh to the young people. Yeah. In Japan, where it is still something very unique and unknown. Yeah. はい。
はい。で、そうですね。そんなに、まあ私が、若い人に、舞踏を知ってほしいっていう理由は、やっぱりこの舞踏の強さ、ストレングスっていうのかな。ボディのストレングスオブボディを、知ってほしい。で、コンテンポラリーダンサーにも舞踏をもっと知ってほしいと思ってやってます。
はい。Well, well, the difficulty for me in Japanese is always they talk so much and the essence is for me so little. But mainly he said that young people and also contemporary dancers want to learn Butoh. And yeah.
Also the strength of the body. Yeah, like just the
yes.
fundamental strength. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. I didn't know how to include this into the translation. Thank you very much.
はい。で、詳しい、活動は、ホームページの URL を、このチャットメッセージに貼っておきます。よかったら見てください。
はい。そう、Hiroshi のホームページで。こ
のチャット、ダイレクトメッセージ。
今のチャットで
今のチャットに後で、はい。
Okay, whoever wants can write something in the chat to him right now. Yeah.
はい。もうこんな感じですかね。はい、ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much. And thank you for support in translation.
Great. Thank you so much. Very nice to know also from Hokkaido and this environment. Yeah, no, it's amazing. Thank you so much. So I invite now Chia from Taiwan, but he is already in Vienna.
Hi, everyone. Hi. Okay, I will speak in Taiwanese, and my interpreter, Amanda, will translate for English. Okay. 大家好哈，我今麦要讲1984年左右，1980年左右哈，那个日本舞踏就来到台湾了。
Hi, everyone. Now I would like to talk a brief history about how the Japanese Butoh came to Taiwan during 1980.
迄阵影響到日本的舞蹈吼來到台灣，白虎社來到台灣，伊迄陣影響到足濟台灣的迄個劇場界人士。毋過佇咧即個舞蹈的迄個，佇咧舞蹈的部分，較無遐尼濟人接受啦，吼。
And at that time, Byakusha came to Taiwan and made a huge impact and influence to Taiwanese Butoh. But during that time, the Taiwanese people would not really accept this kind of dance or Butoh concept.
迄陣白虎社佇台灣造成了足大的迄個影響吼。後來即個卡斯翁諾桑交即個伊個後生嘛有來到台灣演出，啊，閣有即個 土方训的系统、合理邮寄服，因拢有来到台湾。
So that was the first start, and it did make some huge impact. And afterwards, Katsuono and his son Katsuo Yoshito, and also Yukio Wakuri, all came to Taiwan and to make a huge impact in Taiwanese Butoh environment.
啊，还有这个后来个足侪吼，足侪这个为日本来的迄个不倒的艺术家吼，拢来台湾做这个交流。毋过一直无有产生足大的影响吼，伊同款是较大众的群众吼，会来接受，会足介意的。
So after that, many Butoh artists, dancers from Japan came to Taiwan and made a lot of exchange programs and performances. But it didn't arouse the major attention, public attention, but it did leave a huge impact in some minor audiences.
到即马为止啊，嘛是伫台湾嘛是都有足侪人，参像伫个环境的吼，环境的舞踏，啊嘛有对即个社会运动吼，即个舞踏，即两个部分是较有人咧做，因为伫台湾的舞踏其实已经产生了足侪变化，有伫个即个政治上的，佮社会上，啊佮有即个环境。因为舞踏的这个伊的造型，交伊的这个表演的方式，会互人较直观、直接切入主题。
Right now, until now, the Butoh things in Taiwan have separated in different things, such as environment and society. And all these things keep changing, but the major things will focus on politics, society, and the environment. And the Butoh performance in Taiwan is more into it and make you to think directly.
我本身来讲，以我家己来讲，我是对我伫2009年的时阵是拢唔知影舞踏这个艺术。
So before 2009, I didn't know anything about Butoh.
我本身是一个特技演员，啊，我嘛是一个武术家。
At that time, I mean, before 2009, I was an actor and also I was a martial artist.
我家己记得对这个台湾伫这个咱过去吼日本的殖民啊，甲这个国民政府来到台湾吼，对台湾的社会产生了足大的震荡。迄影响到后来我出国去了后，我才了解讲台湾伫国际上是很孤立无援的，所以我要用一个方法来宣传，互大家知影讲台湾伫国际上有受到一寡霸凌啊吼压力吼，所以我有想要用一个表演的方式来交国际来做交流。
And Taiwan has been influenced by the Japanese colonization and the KMT ruling. And all these have made a huge influence in the Taiwanese society. And as you may know, that Taiwan actually is quite isolated and suffer from the bullying or oppression from the neighboring country, and also quite lonely in the international society. So I would like to use Butoh to express, to promote our Taiwan sovereignty in the international community.
我较早拢唔知影讲，我去日本表演的时阵吼，2019年时阵我去日本阿基达表演的时阵，其实伫这之前我拢唔是用舞蹈，我拢是用 darkness dance 暗黑舞蹈。
In 2019, I went to Japan to perform. At that time, I always called Butoh, or I always used like darkness dance to call it.
Sorry, just in the last 2 minutes.
所以咧，即马就讲，我伫日本演出了，有日本的舞蹈的艺术家甲我讲，我这就是咧舞踏吼，我咧舞蹈。后来我接受家己讲好，这就是舞蹈，而且我就是想讲伊，因为上早接受我的嘛是舞蹈的群体吼，所以我嘛希望讲尽我家己一点仔力量，会当交全世界的舞蹈的艺术家交流，邀请大家来到台湾，我嘛会当去甲世界各国宣即个进行讲更较亲密即个文化的交流。
So at that time, when I did my performance, one Japanese Butoh artist came to tell me that actually I did the Butoh dance. So I felt that I was embraced by the Butoh, and Butoh community accepted me. So I would like to do my best to promote Butoh and to exchange all the different perspectives with all the international Butoh dancers. And I would also like to welcome all the international Butoh artists come to Taiwan, and then we could do an excellent culture exchange.
我即马就讲到这，我希望有机会我会当邀请大家来到台湾，咱嘛会当互相交流。
That was my brief presentation. I would like to invite all of you, if there's any opportunity, to come over to Taiwan. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yeah, great, very nice. So nice. Now I would like to invite Sasa, talking from Philippines.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. First of all, I'm very grateful for Will and to all the organizers of Vienna Hybrid Butoh Festival for organizing this event and had this opportunity to meet everybody from the international Butoh community. My name is Sasa. I'm from the Philippines, and I'm currently here in New York. Hello, Evangeline. Yeah, I'm currently in a fellowship for research about Butoh. So, what is the Butoh environment in the Philippines? First of all, when there were already Butoh artists that visited in the Philippines around 2006 to 2014, I believe, on this Komarubushi, Katsurakan, Byakusha, to name a few, and they did some performances and also hold workshops there. But there's also contemporary dance artists that attempted to do Butoh-inspired works, but it was questionably successful because Butoh is still relatively unfamiliar in the Philippines. So I think there were only like very few dancers or people who get the chance to learn about Butoh, but the impact was not that much successful for everyone. And so there were already that kind of scene, but it wasn't sustainable. And moving forward, I only discovered Butoh 2018. So I'm new to the community. My background is from theater. I'm a hip hop dancer and contemporary and all that, different styles and techniques. And I left those practice to pursue the Butoh practice. And so when I discovered that there was already a Butoh environment before I discovered Butoh, I realized that why is it that it's not happening in the Philippines? Like, Butoh is very precious, and it's very significant for everyone to learn the philosophy and principles of Butoh itself. So I started to produce and create my own events, programs, Butoh Jazz in 2019. I went to Japan 2019 to study Butoh with Yoshito Ono and Seisaku-san, Tametsu, and Taketeru Kudo, and so forth. But it was very short. So there was no really Butoh practitioner in the Philippines. So I was the first one to study Butoh in Japan and to bring back this learning experience to my country. And last year, we didn't have it. This was our unofficial Philippine Butoh Festival, but last year I received a grant from Japan Foundation Manila, which led me to hold a Philippine online Butoh workshop series that got me a chance to invite different Butoh artists like Yumiko Yoshioka, Atsushi Takenouchi, Mina Koseki, Daimatsuoka, and many more. That and then I think my how do you call this? I think I had this opportunity to share it to a wider audience because I had this previous background from different dance communities, and I was able to share this kind of new learning about Butoh. And so and then Philippine Butoh Festival, which hopefully is happening next year when I come back to Philippines, is the first actually Philippine Butoh Festival in my country. So I really hope to engage with all of you and also with different Butoh artists that I've been connecting with here in the United States and in Japan. So I really look forward for more international exchanges with all of you. And I hope that we can all dance together soon. So thank you.
Thank you, Sasa. Thank you so much. So I would like to just to remember you. I think all of you know, but just to remember, if you want to check, we have a page in the homepage of the festival where all of you are there, and then you can click and access the short CV and the links of the festival, and you can access the material. You can also check your profile if you want to add some information. We can also put there, and so all of you can enter and see about the festivals and the contact of all of the people and producers and curators that are here today. So from now, I invite. Oh, I lost my where? So Sasa, yeah. Karolina from Butoh Encontro Oslo Festival, or not festival. She can.
Yes, thank you, Will, for the invitation. Yes, I run Butoh Encounters platform. I call it a platform. It's not a festival, but maybe the confusion comes from the fact that in 2019, I organized a conference, international conference on Butoh. So then we had quite a few of you artists and presenters in Oslo, but it was one-off event that was part of the creating environment in Norway for Butoh. I am originally from Poland, but I haven't lived in Poland for 20 years. But then I moved from Poland to England, where I did my PhD in about Butoh in London, and then I moved to Oslo. So my view on environment of performing arts and Butoh, in particular in Oslo, is from the outsider's perspective. So so maybe I misinterpret certain situations or certain events, but this is my kind of personal view on how things are in Norway. And when I moved to Norway, there was not much happening with Butoh. And actually still there isn't much happening with Butoh. And I mean, we are only 5 million people in Norway, so that maybe is part of it. But Butoh was very popular in Norway in the 80s. And that was because of Min Tanaka, who came and he did a big performance for the opening ceremony of Olympics in Lillehammer. So so then suddenly Butoh, everyone was interested in Butoh, everyone knew Butoh. There was a lot of dancers who were studying Butoh, but it lasted a few years and then it disappeared. And I was discussing with quite a few people the reasons for that. And of course, it's hard to pinpoint the exact, precisely few reasons. But I think the problem in Norway is that it's quite expensive to produce work or to produce festivals or workshops with international teachers. So the costs make it not viable to actually have big events in Norway, which would be international. Then it's easier for people to travel to Germany, Spain, Poland to participate in big events than it is to Scandinavia. And the other reason I think, which is quite major, and it's maybe a little bit hard to explain, is Norwegian approach to art. So I think for Norwegians generally, and it is maybe a stereotype, but it has some truth in it, that for them it's more important, or nature and sports is more important than art, and especially dance. So then it's very difficult to create a big audience and interest for people to attend those events. And then so yeah, to talk a little bit more about the environment, the Butoh environment in Norway, it's not true that nothing is happening. There are artists who work with Butoh and have been for the last maybe 10 years, and the general characteristics of those works, I think, is more type of self-exploration and spiritual part of Butoh. And there isn't, I think I can safely say that there isn't anything happening in big venues and theaters of Butoh. The programming venues, they very openly say that Butoh is passé, and we need to move beyond that, so they will not program Butoh. And so I think that leads to many artists not calling their own work Butoh. They sometimes say they are Butoh inspired, or that their art has got roots in Butoh, but they are very, very careful not to actually call it Butoh, because then certain doors are being closed to you if you do that. So my idea first when I came to Norway was to try to make people understand that Butoh word can expand and can be flexible and can move together with time and with society and new developments. But I feel that I'm at a wall, and so it was very hard to expand on the word. Rather than calling it something else, but keep doing the same thing. So my other approach was to connect Butoh with something that Norwegians are familiar with, so that it would be easier for them to find a relation to Butoh. So at first I started to create work that would be cross-disciplinary. So we had, for example, Butoh fashion show presented at Oslo runway. We had a performance called The Last Supper with Daisuke Yoshimoto, and it was a Butoh dining experience for 3-4 hours. And I noticed that Butoh is still very relevant to many people, and audience is always there and appreciates Butoh. So it's not, the problem is not, I think that Norwegian audience doesn't understand Butoh or doesn't feel the need for Butoh. It's just that it's not present in their everyday, maybe not everyday life, but they don't see opportunities to see it. And then the recent years, I went to even more specific approach and work with scientists and scientific researchers and technology developers from the same point of view to connect Butoh with other fields. I have been recently working with a cybernetic engineer and with the industrial robot producer KUKA, and we prepared the Butoh duo between a Butoh dancer, Japanese Butoh dancer Azumaru, who is based in Oslo but used to dance with Dairakudakan, and with the industrial robot Iwa. And then I also now work and have worked the last couple of years with the researchers from Oslo University from the Center for Cancer Cell Reprogramming. So they are cell biologists. And with Yuko Kaseki, we made a performance in Oslo based on behavior of cancer cells and research on reprogramming or possibilities of reprogramming the cells to non-malicious ones. And now I'm working again, or I continue my work with the same scientists, but without a dancer or with cancer cells as dancers. So we are developing choreography based on some experiments that we are about to have with some magnetic devices and feeding cancer cells with ion particles and then creating choreography under microscope. So I'm going more into artistic research, I guess, with Butoh from now on. But there are other Butoh artists around Norway. There is Tove Lena Nikolaisen in south of Norway, and there is a couple people up north. There's Karolina Diaz, who is from Venezuela, but she lives very, very high up in the north of Norway. But there aren't any kind of joint events. I think it's very much singular, popping out performances or actions. And I think that in Norway, Butoh is considered passé, and it's looked upon as underground art, which should stay underground. So it should be performed for 20 people in the audience somewhere in some random venues, and only for very small selection of people. And what I'm trying to work against that image and have a dialogue with big venues to show Butoh and understand why it should be shown. So that is my main kind of idea, and my main efforts go to that.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I would like to invite Sylwia from Poland.
Yes, hello everybody again. So I'm happy to be here in such a big group, Butoh Society from the world. This is really amazing. So thank you, Will. So somehow Poland again after Karolina speech. Well, so Butoh has been present in Poland for over 40 years. As I know, probably the first group presented in Poland, it was Sankejuku, like over 40 years ago. So for sure it was in some big venue. So and then Min Tanaka, who was invited also, but some big institution, which is contemporary art center in Warsaw in mid 80s. And for years, so many Butoh dancers, Japanese Butoh dancers, masters, Komuro Bushi, Kazuo Ono, Yoshito Ono, Daisuke Hashimoto, Carlotta Ikeda and Ariadon, Atsushi Takenouchi, and many more dancers visited Poland in many cities, in Warsaw, of course, but not only. I have been dancing Butoh for 26, 27 years, and have been organizing Butoh events for 20 years, which means that I have been observing the development of Butoh, the audience, you know, what you call environment for many years. And I would say that we have really like audience and people who really want to come and watch Butoh, be in the Butoh performance energy. So of course it is, on one hand, Butoh is an underground art, and sometimes it's really 20 people in the basement or something like this. But on the other hand, Butoh masters were invited by big organizers and presented at big institutions. So it's like both. Of course, sometimes it's not like all the time, and you know, thousands of people watching Butoh every Sunday. So, but this is my impression, and workshops. This is the second thing. Maybe not, of course, again, not like big group of people take part in workshops, like 50 or something. When we have the masters, it can be really big group, but really people come, not only dancers, not only professional performers, but it's interesting for people who want to experience Butoh and yeah, really, you know, yeah, just had this experience which can open. And of course, I always, as an organizer or a teacher, I encourage people to come exactly for this reason. yeah, so my question as an organizer also of Butohpolis Festival, Butohpolis International Butoh Art Festival. Butohpolis is the mix of two words, which is Butoh, of course, and the second is polis from ancient Greek, which is the city of Butoh, because the festival is in Warsaw, in Warsaw, in Poland. So what is interesting and is one of the main question of this festival is the Butoh in different cultures, different countries, different continents, and of course Butoh in Poland. Why? What is specific to each country? What is the essence of Butoh and of course, but the Butoh in the context of different cultures. And yeah, so we had this conversation because Karolina was our guest in 2019. That was first Butohpolis Festival. We have been organizing Butohpolis Festival for 4 years with the support of the city of Warsaw. So we are lucky to have a grant, hoping we'll get another grant for next 3 years. So we started in 2019. The idea of festival is the meeting also. So I try to invite everybody to stay together for a few days to meet each other and also to have possibility to talk, to discuss exactly for instance, this topic. So we had this conversation, Karolina, right? And about the differences and why the Butoh is and how the Butoh is present in yeah, maybe more in some countries or not. For me, of course, is the question for people here in Poland and Butoh practitioners, let's say, what is the background for Butoh in Poland and in other countries, of course. But as I think in Poland, it's of course the history, right? This is the history of all Europe as First and Second World War, but the Holocaust, all these things, which are really still very much present in Polish subconscious. And yeah, one thing, and the second is the Grotowski ideas. So this is the background, I think, for instance, in Poland. So this is also the one of the main line of the festival Butohpolis. I have like few lines and I follow them programming the festival program each year. So well, of course, then pandemic came, so we couldn't do this meeting. So part of the festival was online, you know, all these presenting performances and films. So I hope to come back to this discussion, and this is why and how I program the festival each year. Is first year was like more European Butoh, right, and then a Butoh from other circles, culture circles, let's say, from from Latin America. It was or Afro Butoh. So it's so this is one line of Butohpolis program, and of course presenting Polish artists, support them, make the possibility to to present new performances. But this is one side of what I mean by supporting Polish Butoh community. The second is to bring some inspiration from the world, because my and the inspiration, I think this is also the important question for I think all of us, what is Butoh now? Like Butoh is passé, what does it mean in Norway, right? What kind of Butoh is passé? Maybe, yeah, maybe for us also. We talk about this with Yumi also, right? And some other. So how to still keep this essence of Butoh, and how can we find the new Butoh or contemporary Butoh, as some of you say. So this is the second main topic of Butohpolis, with the link to as an inspiration for Butoh community, which I know for years, and so I'm doing my best to bring something which can inspire and open and change. It can change thinking about Butoh performance. Yeah, so so this is so yes, performances, stage performances, site specific in the nature. So many different, of course, forms. But the second part of the name of the festival is Butoh Art Festival. So as I understand it, it's more than Butoh is something more than not only dance, right? So this is why I invite also some artists working with not only with dance, and again Karolina. Good example, but because we have photographers, right? Karolina was the first, but we have some photography exhibitions and short Butoh dance films. But also, yeah, artists work in new media, like 3D animation with capture motion, VR, immerse experience, and art book. Art book, again, from Butoh Encounters. Wow, we've done so much. Wow. Yeah. And last year we present a very interesting film made by very famous artists, Bika and Lomuan. They are filmmakers, work with architecture, and they made Butoh House film. So it was like about, or can architecture be like dance, or building a house can be like Butoh dance. So this is fantastic, and because many people, including me, has this feeling, right, that Butoh quality is can be linked or attached to something else, not only to dance, right? So Butoh is more.
Sorry, Sylwia, just to say that we have 10 minutes already.
Okay, so you didn't tell me 2 minutes before.
I told you, but I think I wasn't clear enough. Sorry.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah. Do you want to, if you want to conclude, if you're free?
Well, this is, actually, I almost finished what I didn't mention. So if you give me this possibility, so I just want to say that we do Butoh flash mob. So it's like intervention in the public space on pandemic or war in Ukraine this year, which was important. And the last thing in Butohpolis is performance art as an origin of Butoh. This is why I present performance art. So this is it, how Butohpolis Festival looks like. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I would like to invite Daniela from Vienna.
Okay, thank you, Will. First of all, it's really funny to be guest at the Butoh Festival in my own country. So also because the subject now is how to create Butoh festivals in your country and how it works. And I have first of all to say I'm happy that Will is now here since a couple of years, and to bring it to a point, I'm not feeling so lonesome anymore. I was meeting Butoh in the year 1998 in Japan, and I was living there for many years, working there with a lot of Butoh dancers, as many as I could meet, but mainly I was with Dada Kudakan. And I can say I was very pretty nice included in the Butoh scene there, and it felt like a big family. And yeah, I found my home and my roots, I felt, but for some reasons, it's not so easy to live in Japan for foreigners. I left the country, came back to Austria in the end of 2005. Not to stay, but I'm still here. And of course, I brought Butoh with me, and I wanted to share it to the people here because it had such a big impact on me, and it was such a gift for me to meet it that I wanted to share it with people. And the background situation was a little bit like in Norway in the 80s. It was quite popular, Butoh, because there was Ariadone and Carlotta Ikeda came very often, and Komurobushi. And on the other hand, what people knew at that time was at the yearly Impulse Dance Festival, which is quite huge and international. Komurobushi gave a workshop, and that was full. I was attending it once. There were 60 people taking part of this workshop. Since I'm not a dancer, and I came also nearly like a foreigner to Austria, and I even didn't know if I want to stay, I first gave a workshop and this and that, and tried to find other people in Austria who are somehow connected to Butoh, and I soon figured out, which is for me the main problem here, is that everybody wanted to be on its own. They were not like, oh yeah, we are a big family, let's do something together, and things like this. I was meeting them, and it was nice and kind, but for example, when I asked them to do something together or to do an evening with performing together, it was more like, I don't know. And so nothing really happened. So for years and years, I did things on my own, like we created a company and we gave performances, or I did my solo projects. And I was like, but I'm not Butoh. Butoh has so many faces, and I really want to introduce to the people here Butoh, not Daniela Butoh. So I started to invite people like Batarita from Hungary, and later Yumiko, and many people. And in the end, it was twice a year. It became a kind of how to say, ritual. Twice a year I invite guests from other countries, and of course we hardly have foundation for it. Will made this experience right now. I always offer my place to stay, and I organize here everything, and the income came to the artists and things like this. Slowly Yumiko once said, but you have to earn also a little bit money, so she always gave me a little bit when there was a leftover. But yeah, I do it because I really want to share Butoh. And in the year 2010, I was like, okay, there are so many people giving workshops here, but I want people also to see different Butoh, not only to see my dance, but to see also other Butoh dances. So I did my first festival, which were only 4 performances and some workshops. So, and I called this festival Butohresque. because I came to Europe with an idea of Butoh, like I inherited it in Japan, and being here in Europe, I figured out, oh, some things are, yes, but so different. So I created this word, like also, for example, Butohpolis. So with the idea, okay, it is Butoh and Resque, like from the French. So it is based on Butoh. It is like Butoh. So to show that the festival is open for everybody, actually. So the main idea of my festival is same like William's idea, to be open to different kind of arts and people. But yeah, I did a second festival 2 years later, and then my son became a school kid, and I stopped for many years to be that active because yeah, I had my kid. I had to have suddenly a decent life, like getting up in the morning and cooking and stuff like this. When he was little, it was a little bit easier because he slept in my rehearsal room or at a bench in the opera or stuff like this. But with school, it wasn't possible anymore. And in the year 2020, I had in the end my 20th anniversary of Butoh life. So I thought I want to create a festival a little bit bigger. I also actually invited Karolina. I think I wanted to show one of your robot things with Kazu Ono at that festival in a cinema. I had speeches and everything was really nicely planned. And then I had the same experience like all of you. Corona came and I moved everything from one to the other. And in the end, we did only a mini festival last year via, we had 4 performances. One was Will and Maruska, and one more dancer, and there was Ken and Fudo from Germany. So, well, it is tough, I think, to get the audience here in Vienna for Butoh, but not only for Butoh. As I experienced, the problem is, I think there are too many possibilities here in Austria. There are so many dancers doing their little things and so many freelance dancers who are not supported. So I feel I'm a machine, and I have always to find the middle between inviting people. Of course, I want to appreciate their coming and also to pay them something because it's expensive to come here. And but also, yeah, not to overdo everything. So that's why I said I'm very happy now that Will is here, because he is very, very active and he did a great job in organizing this all of here now. And he already said we will see what comes later on. I would say, I also told Will already, there's for sure not the place for two festivals in Vienna or Austria, but we go along very well and our main ideas are very well. So I guess I hope we will find a way to combine our 2 ideas to one bigger festival. And since we are 2 now, it will be also easier to organize things and to welcome all of you in Vienna one day. And yeah, when we share the work, we might get also better possibilities how we get funding and stuff like this. Yeah. So I'm very looking forward, and I want to thank Will once more publicly for being here, that you're stranded in Vienna and that we now go this path together. And I'm really looking forward to meet some of you someday here in Vienna, and that we create something great together. Thank you.
Thank you. Great, perfect 10 minutes. I didn't need to interrupt you. Thank you so much. So I would like to invite Natalia Cuella. If I'm wrong, please correct my pronunciation. From Natalia Cuella from Butoh, Chile, Butoh Festival.
Hello, hello everyone. Thank you. My name is Natalia Cuellar. Thank you. Right. Well,
the name of your festival is right?
Butoh, yes. Butoh, yes. Well, I am from Chile. Nice to meet everyone. I know someone of here. My English is not very good, so I really try to explain. If not, maybe I need some help. But well, I talk a little bit about Butoh in Chile. Butoh arrived in Chile in 1995 with Makiko Tominaga. She came to make a workshop and one performance. I was very young, and well, I started to study with her one year before, and especially in Germany. I lived some years in Germany, studied Butoh. My profession is actress. I'm an actress, not dancer, and so I try to combine Butoh with this line in theater, also Grotowski line, because I studied this line in Chile. So I try to make a combination in my artistic work. But I organize a festival, Butoh Festival, from 2014. We have 4 versions now. This year was the last. We have Vangeline in this year. I'm sorry for my English, okay? But well, she came and make a long workshop, 8 days, 3 hours every days, and she make a performance, very successful. I think people love her here. And this festival, the first festival, 2014, was a small festival, of course. We have some Japanese artists and Latin American artists. The second festival was in 2015, bigger. And then I was very tired, so I decided to stop. And we did the third festival in 2018. And this time we have also Vangeline, we have a Bruce By. Hello, Bruce. And the idea of this festival is make workshops. This is the first idea, workshop and performance. What I want to do is to show, as a Sylvia, to show in Chile, different lines of Butoh or different visions of Butoh. But the first point, or the most important point, is to bring people to give workshop, because in Chile, I think it's a very good country or very good land for Butoh. You know, we have many years a dictatorship. It was Pinochet. So after militaries go out in 1990, Butoh arrived 5 years later. So I think it was some combination from political situation and what Butoh bring us. So I think was a very free way to show or to say what we live with the dictatorship. So I continue about the festival. 2018 was the biggest Butoh. We have 9 international companies, companies from Chile, new creators from Chile. And after, we want to continue in 2019, but we have a big social explosion in Chile, so it was impossible. We have to cancel everything. I think in this time I contacted Sylwia Hanff, but was impossible to bring you also because social explosion. It was amazing. And then after, of course, pandemic, no, 2 years in pandemic, so nothing happened. in this year, 2021, we start again with a small festival, and we contact Evangeline. She got some sponsor from New York, so for this she came to Chile. We bring Eugenia Vargas. She's not here now, but she is a big dancer, a great dancer, and she organized a Butoh festival in Mexico. So I think it's also very important to have contact with her. Eugenia Vargas. So she was here in 2021 this year, and we organized this small festival, especially for women in Butoh. What is the presence of women in Butoh? And we have, of course, national artists, women artists. So we continue the 2023. Of course, we want to continue and thinking in 2024. Our festival is, we need a sponsor from the government. So sometimes we got the money and sometimes we don't got the money. This year, we didn't have the money, just around not more than $3,000. It's nothing, but we try to do something, and people take the workshops. And with this, we can produce a little bit the festival. This is the way to find money. No? So, well, I'm very happy to meet everyone here, and of course to continue talking, because I want to bring some of you to the next year, or the next version of this Butoh festival, and make a contact exchange, and well, go and back. I think this is the idea. No, you come, I go a little bit. This is the idea, to show everyone in Chile how many different Butohs we can find in the world. This is my position also. And well, this, I think my English is horrible, so I cannot speak anymore. Thank you. If you have some questions, but thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much. It was perfect. I could understand everything, maybe because our English is similar from South America. I don't know if everybody knows, but I'm from Brazil, and yeah, living in Vienna. But thanks so much, Natalia. Was very nice to know about the festival and thinking about this human in Butoh now. And I think this is something very important. And
one more thing, sorry, it's important what you say. This is Butoh in Chile is the only festival in this part of South America. There is no in Argentina, no in Peru,
no in Brazil,
no in Uruguay or Paraguay. I don't know, Brazil, I think not like this. So Chile have this point now. So it's interesting you to come to Chile.
Nice.
Okay, thank you
so much. So now I would like to invite Evangeline France from Butoh Institute in New York.
Hi, it's Evangeline, not Evangeline France. It's just my Facebook name, but thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Will. It's okay. Thank you, Will, for the invitation. Sorry for my tardiness. I had an internet problem. Very nice to meet some of you. Hi, Chia. Hello, Natalia. Hello, Bruce. Some of you I know of by name, but it's my first time meeting you. Very nice to meet you. So my name is Evangeline. I have been in New York for 30 years. I am not the first one to do Butoh in New York, and I hope I won't be the last one. Butoh landed in New York in the 1980s, and it's been very prolific and well received, and there's been waves and waves of Japanese masters coming to perform. Before my organization started in 2002, Cave Organization was the main organization producing Butoh events. Now they've sort of receded a little bit, and I'm sort of, our organization is sort of the main one producing Butoh events in New York. I encountered Butoh in 1998 in New York City, and then I started training with my teachers, and then bringing my teachers to New York, and then showing their performances, curating. I'm also a dancer. And then gradually, I've seen also, like Sylvia, things change drastically for the past 20 years. there's a very huge interest around Butoh. I think it's been since the 1980s. But I definitely have seen how the art form, when I encountered it, was more perceived as an art form performed by men with shaved head, painted white. And so there's always this cloak of stereotype around the art form that you see. And I think it's moving from that now into an art form that's more diverse, that's practiced from people from around the world, that's practiced by women, by queer people. And my interest in producing events has been really to break the stereotype and challenge this limited vision of Butoh. And I was very interested in what you said, Karolina, because I came against the same prejudice from presenters. Oh, Butoh is something that's Japanese and that's done. I heard that a lot in the beginning, you know. And so much of the journey of presenting Butoh is really challenging something that's established, the people's perception of the art form, the traditional structures from the presenting world, that sort of the gatekeepers, right, that won't let you in, how to find the funding, but mostly how to open people's minds to what Natalia said, that Butoh is a very diverse art form with many different ways to be performed. My personal interest has been to be more inclusive of women and women identifying artists, because I really came up against the patriarchy in this art form with the male teachers. And I wanted to give a platform for women to really be seen, be recognized, be acknowledged for the work that they have done within the art form, because I feel like their contributions have not been acknowledged so far historically very much. And I also wanted to give a platform to LGBTQI artists. I've also worked in prisons for 15 years, working with people who are incarcerated. And I've worked in nightclubs. I've been interested in sort of opening Butoh to different contexts, and also internationally. Once I started my festival in 2016, bring people from around the world and start international connections. Natalia being one of the people that I've developed an amazing connection with, and I hope to continue my connections with many of you. I think the pandemic has been sort of a bittersweet experience, in the sense that in a way we've been able to connect on Zoom, and this is happening now as a result of the pandemic, where we can get to know each other, whereas before there was this situation of a little bit of isolation, everyone working in their own continent, in their own city, and now we are kind of have the opportunity to connect, which is great. The pandemic, on the other hand, created a very big problem financially in New York at the moment. We are not back. We are struggling with inflation and real estate and funding. And so the question always as a curator is, how do you continue? It's been 20 years for me this year. How to continue, how to secure funding. We do get funding, but the conditions seems to get harder and harder every year with financially. So it's always the question is how to continue this. This year, I also want to mention that we are doing a project with neuroscience. For the first time, we are going to go to Houston, Texas in 2023 and get our brainwave activity measured while we're performing a Butoh piece. And I want to let you know about this because it's a pilot study where we're hoping, with the help of these neuroscientists down the line, to get a lot more funding and come measure all of you and our masters and Japanese people and people from around the world. So I'm very interested in continuing this project for the next 10 years and have the opportunity to work with some of you and sort of look at Butoh from a scientific perspective and find out what is happening in the brains of all these beautiful different people who are practicing from different lineages and from different cultures. And is there something in common happening that we can identify? And can we also build an archive of the brain activity of all of us? So that's currently a little bit my interest. But when I was in Chile, Natalia and I and Eugenia were talking about making some kind of nexus. We are very interested and committed and understanding that for this very small art form at this point in time, I really feel like international connections are key. Now, how can we find ways to support each other? The way Natalia was saying, I come to perform at your festival, you come to perform at mine. What is the way that we can expand on our current networks and capitalize on the level of funding that we all get to actually support each other? And support this art form to continue into the future. I feel like there is something key, and I'm very grateful for your invitation, Will. There's something very key here that could be happening, where I've noticed that for the past 20 years or so, a shift from Butoh practitioners being a little bit hesitant and a little bit suspicious and critical of each other, and that now we're getting into a space where people are a little bit more embracing of each other's differences and supportive. And maybe this is the way, you know, for survival of this Butoh species. So this is my feeling, and I hope I can continue to get to know some of you.
Thank you so much, Evangeline. Thank you. Yeah, it's very nice to have your presence here and all of your thought and research. And for sure, let's continue talking.
Yeah.
I would like to invite the Professor Bruce Bird from US also. I'm sorry if I taught your name in a wrong way, but you are invited to come and to correct me.
Will, can I share a screen and
We'll give you the permission.
okay. And while you were doing this, Will, thank you so much for inviting me. It's great to see old friends and see new faces. It's fantastic. I'm so energized by the conversation we're having here.
Yeah. Could you try already? Because
yep, I'm trying right now.
Yeah, great. Great.
Okay, sorry. So oh shoot. Okay, so I'll just go very quickly. Again, thank you for inviting me here. My name is Bruce Baird. I teach at the University of Massachusetts Amherst, and this has been a great event so far, and I hope I can add something to it. Very quickly about my own research. Recently, in 2018, Rosemary Candelario and I co-edited a huge volume, the Routledge Companion to Butoh Performance. We were very proud of having people from 6 continents, 11 countries, 55 authors, and 100 photos. And but I feel like when I listened to you all, like there was so much more that didn't get into the book is what I feel. But we did have chapters about festivals like the San Francisco Butoh Festival, things like that. And about individual artists, stuff like this. Many of you may know this book already. Anyway, the next thing we did is we hosted a conference, which was basically the idea was to build upon the companion. So we wanted everyone to take the companion as sort of the starting point for future ideas about Butoh. So not really think about the companion at all, but say that's already in the past, what's next? But we also had performances, workshops, stuff like that. So this was the next thing we did. All right. We also, performances, we had Yuko Kaseki as kind of a headline performance, but then we also had many of the very people who were giving presentations. We also had them give performances, and the idea was, and I think that many of you have been sort of articulating a similar idea, which is not just to, like reinforce, Butoh from the past, but try to figure out how everyone is using Butoh. So we had this idea, we start from the outside in, not the inside out, in Butoh. All right, fast forwarding, another little shameless plug. Many of you may have also seen this. I just published a history of Butoh, and this has chapters on 10 very important, what I'm calling first and second generation performers. Of course, as we see from our activities today, Butoh is so much bigger than even one book could be. I was very conscious of that. We have performers with us today that could have their own chapter in a book like this. And so there's still much work to do. My main goal was really to demonstrate that Butoh addresses, sort of like the most important political, artistic, and philosophical discussions of our time. And I had sort of three categories in mind. One was relationship to contemporary Japanese debates. And the other was relationship to the performing arts as a whole, and then the relationship to broader societal trends. And so I won't really go into most of those, but for example, early on, I think a lot of people didn't really understand the dance techniques that the performers were using. There was a kind of a surface understanding. And one of my goals in my first book and in these other books was to sort of like uncover the techniques the artists were using. And and I think that has been a lot of interest as that knowledge has come out. People have been interested in, what some people call the Hijikata method, things like that. And what I wanted to do is say that we should be talking about those in relation to Grotowski and Stanislavski, these other kinds of physical transformation techniques that other artists are pursuing. So that's, the relationship to other performing arts. I also talked about Butoh in the context of cyborg, in terms of a relationship to broader societal trends. And then I'll just skip to I was really energized by your idea of embrace and transform, because the most recent project I'm working on is really about seeing how people, in the present are using Butoh. And so I just stacked up some things that I've been, working on, people using Butoh in protests, people using Butoh in healing and memorials, people using Butoh in, sort of nature, environment, ecology, movement ways. Definitely, there's been Butoh as exploration of the artist's own individual identity or their ethnic identity. And one thing that I'll just, a quick sidelight here is Tanya Calamoneri just came out with a book called Butoh America. And by America, she means not just the United States of America, but the broader North and South America continents. And she points out that in Central America and South America, Butoh was received in an environment of totalitarian dictatorships. And so this idea of exploring your own ethnicity kind of gets doubled up with the idea of protest in very interesting ways that are different from how like maybe Butoh was seen in North America, where it's kind of part of, an avant-garde art scene or something like that. And then, Karolina, it's very interesting for me to hear about this project of yours, because I think that a lot of people are now exploring Butoh in relation to technology and new media studies, things like that. About the state of Butoh, when I came to this research project, I felt like I was very much alone in it. But one of the things that I want to point out in the United States is that we have a growing number of faculty members who's are deeply interested in Butoh, who are at universities. And so I'm very excited about that aspect of like having people at universities who are really accepting and understanding and studying about the importance of Butoh. But then I should also say Evangeline, who's not an academic, but an artist. Evangeline, is it fair for me to say that way? I don't know if that's fair for me to say, but she's published her own book about Butoh. So we're having also people from the outside of the academy who are also publishing interesting things about Butoh, which I think is really makes for a rich environment. Anyway, so I think that's good for me in terms of my own research and like the state of Butoh from my vantage point. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you to accept my invitation, our invitation in reality, and to accept this challenge to talk about all of your research just in 10 minutes. I'm sorry to give you this short time to talk about, but for sure I can feel that we have a lot to talk between all of us. I need to say something very, very important, that is this meeting had a special curator, that is Karolina also, because she's a little bit, what? No, because she was the first person that I was talking about this idea of this online meeting, and she suggested some names. So this team that is meeting today has also a collaboration of Karolina. Thank you so much, Karolina. And yeah, in this I say to accept our invitation. So I will be very fast to talk about the Hybrid Butoh Vienna Art Festival. And so what I can recognize from Austria and is that Butoh had a very strong moment in the 80s, and now somehow I can feel in my talking, which is not academical research, it's just my point of view, my feeling from this area, is that Butoh is something old, something from the past. And then I wanted to develop a project where we could mix, or we could put, or how could we think about a contemporary Butoh, and to put Butoh in this present moment, to talk with our culture, and not to put this in a contemporary way. And then, of course, mixing Butoh with another kind of arts, expressions, language, culture, research, and so this is where the idea of the festival comes, and also inspired from the roots of Butoh history, inspired from Tatsumi Jikata in the beginning, talking and working with all of the contemporary artists from that moment. So if we think about the contemporary artists, and not just artists, but philosophers, researchers, scientists, from this moment, what kind of Butoh, what kind of dance expression we could have. So, for example, when I see Evangeline talking about brain waves, is like that. So Karolina talking about the cells of manifestation and dance composition. Yeah, then I can see this in this moment. So just to talk fastly about our festival here, where this comes from. And of course, another thing that I can observe from, that I could observe living in Vienna in Austria just for 5 years is that I can't survive working with Butoh just in Vienna. I need to expand. We need to expand our connections to be stronger, to be able to continue dancing, to continue working. And this is when came this idea of the online meeting. Of course, the first idea, as I told you, was to have your presence here. And then the first idea after that, what came was like, no, but this is impossible. You are dreaming. But oh, what? Why not an online meeting? Just to connect these people for the first time, and then we could later to have the presence. So all of you are already welcome, invited to come to our next exhibition, our next session edition in 2023. Probably will be between November and December. I would love to receive you all here. And this is already my proposition in front of all of we had in this meeting, to have more time to talk and to research. Of course, the online meeting and online connections and the emails is also another tool that we could work. We are already looking for European fundings, budgets, funds to support our research, not just thinking about Austria, but European context, and for sure, from this point, also work looking for Asia, North America, South America, Australia, and to put our connection included in a big project. Or I don't know, maybe I'm just dreaming in a romantic way, but it's also my goal, let's say. So this is my position, and then I would like to open for each one of you to have around 2-3 minutes to talk about how could you, some of you already told, how could you imagine this connection between us? How could we improve our network? What could be our next steps? Think like this, if you can see, if you can, if you want to share. I would like to return with Yumi in Australia. Yumi, you do like in also these 3 minutes to say bye, to conclude your participation here. Yumi?
Oh, sorry, I wasn't thinking too much yet, but my brain's a little bit slow in the late night. Yes, really great to hear all of your different perspectives, and I can't think right now because of the lockdown and all that. Things of exchange becomes quite local oriented rather than outside of countries. But obviously, this online thing was very much more less blockage for a lot of people. Like initially, when you think about the online Butoh workshop, like wow. But then now people do that, and I sometimes attend Atsushi-san's like 3 hours in online. Like I just initially, that's not possible, but it's actually possible. So I think it's sometimes physical connection, but also some of the combination with online encounter with international like people was incredibly valid. And also, of course, the exit, like the festival Yumiko and Delta was doing for 20 years, was an amazing model of this sort of big location. Of course, now it's not happening, but if somewhere in one's locations and gathers together, it's like a utopia situation of Butoh. I think somebody was saying last time when I was there. So those things, again, is costly too, but locationally and physically being together is very powerful, of course, not online. And I'm a bit down under from you, but it's kind of always geographical distance is not too difficult nowadays. So, I mean, as well as online. So, and I'm also interested in that other Butoh is sort of old and new and constantly universal. So how can we activate it in a much more connected way. Yeah, that's a question, and I can't answer practically, but yeah, it's more. Yeah, I'm still thinking.
Thank you so much. So
Thank you.
say that we are recording here this meeting. I think we have a lot. I have a lot to see. As a lot of content, we can later see this again and think up more and to continue thinking. And then we have Hiroshi. Do you still here? Gallery. Yes. So yes, please.
ネットワークの、こういう、機会を増やしていけば、いろんなことがつながっていくので、とにかくネットワークを続けることが大事かなと思います。
すみません、あらま、ちょっと疲れた。もう一つお願いします。ゆっくりお願いします。ごめんなさい。
May I jump in here?
Oh, yes, please, Bruce.
Morishima-san is saying that he thinks it's very important that we continue on this kind of network, keeping in touch with each other. That he said that's very important.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you, Bruce.
You're quite welcome.
Then we go to Husha.
即马不倒伫台湾，其實是足濟少年人有趣味啦。
Right now in Taiwan, there are many young people interested in Butoh.
伫台灣有幾間大學嘅教授吼，啊閣一寡即個數位科技，攏有交有塔嘅藝術家咧合作。
So in terms of the collaboration with Butoh, like some professors in the universities and then digital technology are all involved.
我即擺感覺是不倒佇台灣的影響吼，會愈來愈大吼。尤其即屆交Will辦的即個活動吼，啊交Hiroshi、交 Evangelina 吼，啊個 Natalia， 大家世界的串聯吼，我感覺是會當互即個不倒更壯大。
I really think that the Butoh in Taiwan will be more and more important and influential. And I also like this time we hold this conference or also the Butoh Forum in Taiwan. We invited Natalia and all different Butoh artists. And this will make us connected more and to have more impact worldwide.
謝謝，感謝。
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chia. Karolina.
Yes. Yes, thank you so much, Will, for organizing it. And I agree that it's very important and it's value in itself that we can meet and we can exchange different perspectives on Butoh and how Butoh functions in different social, cultural, economical, political paradigms. And I don't have answers to your questions, but I think that it's very interesting to continue that exchange and to discuss how Butoh is and can be relevant to wider societies, and also from practical perspective, it would be interesting to discuss further funding opportunities, because I think that very often is the point that stops many activities. And I think that in Norway we have a luxury problem that there is enough funding available, but then there is a little bit confusion how to use it, and it's being a lot of money is being spent on activities which are very limited in terms of audience and presence outside of little village or city in Norway. So I think that being aware of the opportunities like that around the world can help to create some international possibilities for co-productions or for invitations and so on. So I think what I would like to continue is to have discussions and exchange in online meetings or in publishing collaborations and so on. Thank you.
Sylwia.
Yes, well, thank you very much, Will, for organizing this meeting. My intuition says that this is really, really very important, like the beginning of a new chapter. Seriously, you know, well, as I heard a few years ago, that Butoh is dead. So maybe, yeah, right now it's like the new beginning, new chapter, because we still just have to do Butoh, and why? So looking for new ways, and that was a really great inspiration to listen all of you, to know your perspective, and yes, I agree with Evangeline. I mean, how to survive or how to develop this international network is essential, I think. So I don't know how, and I hope we will continue to really and to support each other. I don't know, in many different ways to continue the discussion. Also to talk live online, and yes, of course, finding new ways to find money, just, you know, support each other in cooperation, organizing something, then we can continue doing Butoh. So thank you again.
Great, thank you so much. Natalia? Oh, sorry, Dani.
Never mind. Yeah, I'm very happy that I met all of you here online, and I agree with many of those who spoke before me. It's good to know that you are all out of the world here, and I felt so long time so alone in my struggles, and now I see there are so many more doing the same like I do. And what I really liked in all of what you said is that we are willing to support each other, and we share something very special, and we want to spread it out, and we want to continue to live it. And I'm always happy to be here to support you, and it's nice to know that you all also support me. And I think that's also really important, that we know that when we want to do a festival, for example, that there are people who say, yes, I want to show Butoh, I want to teach Butoh, I want to spread it out of the world, I'm going to support you, and I come. And I think that's really a great thing to know, because I'm always shy kind of to invite people, because I felt like, oh, I do my best to offer you, but I know we all have to survive from something, and that's the last thing I can offer you most of the time. So yeah, I'm always happy to support you in the way that I come and do whatever you like to show. And yeah, concerning Austria, as I said, we are on a kind of turning point, I would say. So I can't make any forecast. I was planning a Butoh festival for next year, the next Butohresque, but I think Will and I have to talk a little about our ideas and have a look what we gonna do in the near future. But certainly there will be something happening, and I will be happy to welcome you then. Thank you to all of you. Bye.
Natalia?
Well, I think money to make a production, artistic production, is always difficult, but I think it's possible anyway. All of us, we could find a way. I think we have to make more exchange co-productions, as Vangeline and me thinking about this way. I think anyway, I will try to find a way to bring some of you next years to Chile to teach Butoh, to show performance. And I think 2023 is possible to make a bigger festival. And well, connection and exchange, talk between us, and how to find a way to go to other country, to bring you to Chile, co-productions. I think this is the way, no?
Great, thank you so much. Vangeline?
I think that we don't have to have all the answers. I think being in the same space is very important, yeah? And as we share in the same space, we can gradually maybe go in the direction of having some answers, but it's okay not to know now. Just connecting is very good. Yeah, and I look forward to connecting with you guys.
Nice. Brucey?
I mean, we're all, I mean, it seems like we're all, you know, like circling around some of the same things, which is funding is always difficult. Reaching out, having connection is, you know, particularly, you know, across, you know, like large distances. From my side, what I can say is, I hope that, for example, you know, like if someone like me does scholarship, that then maybe that can be like put in front of a producer to say, hey, look, this is not a dead thing. This is a very much an alive thing. And so, but the flip side of that is that, as I explained before, Butoh is so much bigger than any one person. So I would love it if you send me a video of a performance that you did, or else, you know, if you see a performance that you think is really amazing, and I put this already in the chat, but if you see a performance that's really amazing, just let me know about it, because I would love to like sort of like feature these and say, hey, look, this is what people are doing, so that there's this two-way thing where we can talk to producers and say, hey, look at everywhere else that like really interesting things are going on. You should still be putting money behind this. Anyway, so, you know, a plug. And I will just say one more thing, which is that I can get money from my university if I'm invited to speak somewhere. So if you know, have something, an activity, and I mean, I can only get money for one talk a year, but one talk a year, it's, you know, I mean, now travel is opening up. So if you don't have a big enough budget to, you know, pay for me to come to you, maybe I can pay for me to come to you.
Great. So you can make already appointment to come to Vienna next year. You're already invited. And, so I was working in Brazil. I was working a contemporary theater festival. We had a kind of network of all of the contemporary theaters festival in Brazil. This was more or less 5 big festivals. In that moment, we had a strategy to invite, for example, people from the other continent, and then we could together cover these schools together, and this person could come to Brazil and go to all of these 5 festivals. So in this way, for example, I could invite Brucey to come to Vienna, but also to make a kind of tour during through different festivals in Europe, for example, and then could be the same in North America, South America. This is is also some proposition. So from this talking, this last talking we had to activate, to collaborate, to support, to find fundings, co-productions, meetings, online meetings, personal meetings, exchangings, being same space, be together, just to connect, work in the same points, to have a support of the academy and researchers, and to exchange materials. So this is what I could have as a note from this last talking. I will take this recording of our meeting.
I think Sasa is raising her hand, by the way.
Sorry?
I think Sasa is raising her hand.
Oh, Sasa, so I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you missed me. Just kidding. Yeah. Well, I feel like I'm the youngest from all of the curators and organizers of the Butoh festivals around the world here in this conference, and I am really learning from all, from all the how all your communities, evolved and thrived in the past many years. And I believe that this kind of international meetings helps us know how the Butoh communities evolve to in the future. Like we have different cultures and we have different scenarios of our Butoh communities in our country, but knowing how it further thrive, or how does it move forward from here, from the pandemic, and from here on, I believe that having this kind of international meetings for like annually or after 2 to 5 years is important for all of us, and that is also to continue this connection and networking. Whether it be physical or online, I believe that the gift of pandemic is to, giving us an opportunity to connect with all of us without having to travel. And of course, we want to visit each other countries and perform and hold workshops physically, but having all these discussions and conversations is very important too. And if you don't have that much funding, you go to hybrid or you go to online, and then you can invite some more people to gather. And I think I see this on a positive note, but I also hope that in the near future I can bring you to the Philippines, or you can bring me to your country, and have this international intercultural exchanges. And to my country, since I am very new in the Butoh practice itself, and introducing what is Butoh in the past and Butoh in the now, I would love to be open and also be careful on all these different perspectives. So I really look forward to continue connecting with all of you. Thank you, Will, and thank you to everyone that is here today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sasa. I'm so sorry for my mistake. Thank you so much. It's very nice to know about your production in Philippines and to know your mission there, because you had a sequence of big events there, no? And festivals. Is great. It's amazing. Thank you so much. So we have these words that I could collect here. If you want to add that, also please send me by email. I will put this video in the YouTube if you agree. If not, please tell me. In the beginning, I will put this not public but unlisted, where just us we could find this there. And if you feel that I could put this public, please tell me also. And this is the first step. Now, from the next 10 days, we will have full days of work in the festival with the program. But for sure, after to finish the festival and to conclude this step here, I will get in contact with you already. Some of you are already here. Sylwia will come. Chia is here already. Thank you, Tracy and Maria, to support us here in this meeting. Thank you, Maruska-san. Thank you, Daniela-san, to be together in this. Thank you, all of you. It's amazing to have your presence, your cooperation. See you next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. See you
Thank you,
soon.
everyone.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everyone.
See you.
Good morning,
Let's
good
have
Bye.
a
night,
tour.
have a nice
Bye.
day,
Bye.
whatever. Bye.
Okay,
Bye.
welcome to
Let's have a
Taiwan.
picture. Let's have a group picture.
Group picture.
yeah.
This is a good one. Janina was already.
I think I took one before. Yeah.
Maru, take.
Oh no.
It's okay. I did.
You
I
did?
also did some
Okay.
screenshot during
We
the
can share.
taking. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to meet you here.
Yeah, see you tomorrow.
See you.
Bye.
See you.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Hi, Sylwia. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
See you tomorrow too.
Yeah.
Okay.